Logan Rivers, a seemingly ordinary teenager, discovers he possesses rare convergent mana, a powerful energy connecting all life. Guided by mentors Derek Shaw and Gideon Cross, and aided by friends Chloe Harper and Avery Quinn, Logan must master his abilities to face the dark mage Victor Kane. As battles escalate, friendships are tested, secrets unfold, and the fate of the city rests on their courage, unity, and Heart of Convergence artifact.
The small town of Ridgway, Oregon was used to quiet nights, soft rain tapping roofs, distant hums of late-night diners, and the steady rustle of pine trees that circled the town like guardians. But tonight, everything felt different. 16-year-old Logan Rivers felt it before he saw it. A strange pressure, like the air had thickened around him, pushed against his chest as he walked home from his weekend shift at Harper's Grocery. His earbuds were in, the music loud, but the world around him had grown oddly silent. He stopped under a flickering street lamp. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. Logan pulled out his earbuds and listened. Nothing. No cars, no crickets, no wind, just an empty stillness so complete it made his skin crawl. Then, the sky tore open. An enormous spiral of blue and silver light erupted high above the treetops, twisting like a storm made of stars. Logan stumbled back, his heart racing. What the hell? A pulse of energy shot across the town like a shockwave, silent but powerful. It slammed into Logan's chest, and the world exploded into light. For a moment, he couldn't breathe. His body felt suspended, weightless, and burning. He reached out, trying to steady himself, but his hands were glowing. Blue. Bright blue, like liquid lightning ran under his skin. His pulse thundered in his ears, his vision blurred, and then a voice whispered inside his mind. "Awaken, Convergent." Logan gasped, collapsing to one knee as the glowing faded. Convergent? He had no idea what that meant, but something inside him had changed, shifted, like a door had opened and whatever was behind it was far bigger than him. The next morning, Logan woke up on his bedroom floor. He didn't remember coming home. His clothes were covered in mud, his hands still tingled, and his dreams were filled with swirling blue light. He dragged himself to the mirror. No glow, no marks, no sign of what happened. But when he exhaled, the mirror fogged, and glowing blue lines flashed across the surface, forming a circular symbol he'd never seen before. He jumped back. Okay, no, this is not normal. This is insane. Someone knocked on his door. "Logan, you up yet?" It was Chloe Harper, his best friend since elementary school. "Yeah," Logan said, trying to keep his voice steady. "Be right down." He threw on a hoodie, splashed water on his face, and ran downstairs. Chloe was waiting, auburn hair pulled into a messy ponytail, eyes sharp with worry. "Did you feel that last night?" Logan froze. "You felt it too?" Chloe nodded slowly. "Everyone did. People said it was an earthquake, but Logan, I saw the sky. So he hadn't imagined it." Before Logan could respond, the door swung open. Avery Quinn, their energetic, loud, and always hungry friend, burst in holding a coffee the size of his face. Guys, you are not going to believe this. I swear I saw lightning hit the ground near the old forest last night." Chloe shot Logan a look. They both knew he hadn't told Avery anything. "So you didn't sleep either?" Avery asked. Logan shook his head. "Not really. Same. I kept hearing whispers, like voices or something. This town is haunted now. I'm calling it." Logan exchanged another uncomfortable glance with Chloe. They weren't telling Avery the whole truth. Not yet. Because they didn't understand it either. School felt wrong. Students buzzed with rumors. Was it aliens, a meteor, a military experiment? Someone claimed their dog started glowing. Every step Logan took, something felt off. His senses were heightened. He could hear a locker slam across the building. He could feel vibrations in the floor like tiny heartbeats. Colors seemed brighter, sharper. At lunch, Chloe leaned across the table. "Logan, something else happened to you, didn't it?" Logan swallowed hard. He didn't want to lie. I think something changed in me." Chloe's eyes softened. "Show me." He looked around the cafeteria, too crowded, too exposed. "After school," he whispered. "Meet me behind the gym." After school, behind the gym. Chloe arrived first, her expression serious. Logan raised his hand, inhaled, and focused on the memory of the blue light. His veins glowed, his palm shimmered, and then a small orb of blue energy formed above his hand. Chloe gasped. "Logan, that's manna." "Manna?" She nodded. "My grandmother told me stories about energy that certain people could control. I never believed her, but this, Logan, this is real." The air behind them shifted. Footsteps. A man stepped from the shadows. Tall, rugged, late 40s, with sharp eyes that seemed to see straight through them. Derek Shaw, their substitute science teacher. Only something about him felt different, stronger, older, dangerous. "You're playing with fire, Logan Rivers," Derek said calmly. "Manna is not a toy, and convergent manna even more so." Logan's stomach dropped. You know what this is?" Derek nodded, stepping closer. "And if you want to survive what's coming, you'll need more than curiosity." His eyes darkened. "You'll need training."
The wind cut sharply across the empty field behind the gym, carrying Derek Shaw's words through the cold air. "You'll need training." Logan felt the ground tilt beneath him. His substitute teacher, the man who usually handed out worksheets and half-smiled at bad science jokes, was suddenly standing in front of him like someone from another world. Chloe moved protectively closer to Logan. "What do you mean, training?" she demanded. Derek studied them both with calm, assessing eyes. "Exactly what it sounds like. Logan isn't just awakening random energy. He's awakened convergent mana, something extremely rare, extremely powerful, and extremely dangerous if uncontrolled." Logan swallowed. "Dangerous to who? Me or everyone else?" Derek's jaw tightened. "Both. A hidden history." Derek stepped back, hands behind his back, his coat swaying in the wind as if responding to an invisible force. Convergent mana isn't normal mana. Most people who can use mana have one affinity: fire, wind, shadow, water, light, and so on. But convergent mana, he looked directly into Logan's eyes, is the ability to unite different mana forms, blend them, shape them, evolve them. Chloe breathed out slowly. "Like combining magic?" "More like becoming magic," Derek corrected. Logan felt a chill settle over his spine. "Why me?" Logan asked quietly. I'm nobody. I work at a grocery store. I barely pass math. Why would something like this choose me?" Derek hesitated. Then he said a sentence that made Logan's world freeze. "Because your father was a convergent too." A truth Logan never expected. Logan stepped back as if struck. "My dad?" "No, my dad died when I was 8, car crash. He wasn't some mage or whatever you're talking about." Derek's eyes softened, but did not waver. "Logan, your father's death wasn't an accident." Chloe gasped. Logan felt heat rising inside him, his heartbeat pounding harder with every second. "You're lying," Logan whispered. But deep down, deep in the place where truth always hits hardest, he felt a crack reopen inside him. Derek shook his head slowly. "I wish I were. But the thing that killed him is waking again.
And your awakening last night, it wasn't random. It was triggered. Triggered by what? Chloe asked. Derek's voice dropped to a grave tone. A dark mana surge. Someone, or something, released enough dark energy to awaken any dormant convergent in the area. Logan's stomach twisted. And that means... His voice cracked. Someone wanted me awakened? No, Derek said quietly. Someone wanted you exposed. A new threat. Chloe exhaled shakily. Logan, what are we going to do? Logan looked at his glowing fingertips, the faint blue light flickering under his skin like a heartbeat he didn't recognize. I don't know, he whispered. Derek stepped forward urgently. You're going to train, right now, before whoever awakened you finds you. Logan lifted his eyes. And who awakened me? The wind seemed to still. Derek's face hardened. His name is Victor Kane, a dark mage who once tried to dominate convergent mana users. Your father fought for it. Logan's breath left him in a painful rush. A cold weight settled in his chest, grief, anger, fear, all twisting together. He killed my dad? Derek nodded once. Victor Kane has returned. You are now his target. Chloe grabbed Logan's wrist. We're not letting him face this alone. Derek sighed. You both already stepped into the storm. There's no turning back now. The first lesson. Derek pulled a coin-sized metallic disc from his pocket and placed it on the ground. It hummed, glowing faintly. What is that? Chloe asked. A mana stabilizer, Derek said. It will measure Logan's mana output. Logan frowned. Measure it for what? Derek stepped back. To see how bad this is. The disc projected several rings of light around Logan, scanning his body like a ripple of water caught in slow motion. Then the disc beeped. Derek stared at it, then sharply exhaled. That's not possible. Logan's pulse spiked. What? What does it say? Derek looked up, voice tight. Logan, your convergent mana level is already equal to a trained mage. What? Chloe breathed. But I haven't trained at all, Logan protested. That's the problem, Derek's voice hardened. Power without discipline is a weapon aimed at the one who holds it. The disc beeped again, this time violently, and shot sparks. Derek cursed and stomped it off. Chloe stared wide-eyed. Logan, are you okay? Logan wasn't. His chest felt hot, his hands were shaking, and the blue energy inside him felt like it was clawing to get out. Something's wrong, Logan whispered. Derek stepped forward urgently. Logan, breathe, focus. Don't let the mana control you. But it was too late. A surge of blue energy cracked through the air, blasting outward in a wave that knocked Derek to one knee and sent Chloe stumbling back. Logan screamed, his hands glowing violently. I can't stop it! His vision blurred, the world spun, his knees buckled, and then the blue light exploded.
The blue energy burst from Logan like a shockwave, sweeping across the field with a force that made the air crackle. Trees bent backward, dust spiraled into the sky, and the ground shook as if something ancient had awakened beneath it. Chloe screamed his name, Logan! But Logan couldn't hear her. He was suspended inside the blast, trapped between fear and something bigger, something rising inside him like a tidal wave. His vision drowned in blue light. His heartbeat echoed in his skull, louder and louder. I can't control this. I can't. Then the spinning light suddenly expanded, forming a huge spiral around him, swirling in the air like a storm made of stars. Derek Shaw shielded his eyes. Logan, listen to me. Stop fighting it. But Logan wasn't fighting. He was drowning. Inside the spiral, the world fell away. Logan's feet no longer touched the ground. The spiral wrapped him in a cocoon of light. Voices whispered, distant, ancient, familiar, yet impossible. Convergence, awaken, chosen, balance, unity. Beware the shadow.
Logan clutched his head. "Stop! Please, stop!" The whispers intensified, overlapping until they became a storm of sound. Fragments of visions flashed. A man who looked like him, older, eyes glowing like blue fire. A massive explosion in a forest. A shadow figure with burning red eyes. A crystal heart pulsing with light. His father reaching out. Logan. "Dad?" Logan gasped. The figure vanished. The spiral collapsed. Back to reality. Logan crashed onto the ground, the blue light extinguishing like someone blew out a candle. Chloe rushed to him, dropping to her knees. "Logan! Logan, talk to me!" He blinked, dazed, his chest heaving. I saw something. I saw my dad." Chloe's breath hitched. "What do you mean? Like a memory?" "He didn't know," Logan said weakly. "But it felt real. Too real." Derek approached slowly, cautious, as if Logan was a live wire ready to explode again. "That wasn't a memory," Derek said grimly. "That was convergence resonance, your mana syncing with your lineage." "My lineage?" Logan echoed. Derek nodded. "You're more like your father than you ever knew." Logan looked down at his hands. They were trembling, faint traces of blue still glowing under his skin. "I almost hurt you both," he whispered. Chloe shook her head sharply. "No, Logan, you didn't do it on purpose, and we're not afraid of you." Logan met her eyes, steady, warm, unwavering. He needed that. The warning. Derek stood over the scorched ground. The blast had carved a perfect spiral pattern in the dirt, the same symbol Logan saw in the mirror that morning. "This is bad," Derek muttered. "What does it mean?" Chloe asked. "It means Victor Kane will feel that surge from miles away. Your awakening wasn't quiet. It was a flare in the night sky, and every dark mage will know exactly where you are." Logan felt ice crawl through his veins. "So, he's coming?" Derek's jaw tightened. "He's already on his way." A new decision. Logan pushed himself up with Chloe's help. His body felt heavy. His mind felt stretched thin, but his heart was burning. "I'm not running," Logan said quietly. "I'm tired of running from things I don't understand." Derek studied him, expression unreadable. "You still think this is a choice? You're part of this whether you want to be or not." Logan lifted his chin. "Then teach me." Derek stared at him for a long moment. Then he nodded once. "Training starts tonight." Chloe's brows rose. "Tonight? Already?" Derek's voice was firm. "Victor Kane is the most dangerous dark mage alive. Logan just announced to the world that he's a convergent. We don't have time." A tremor of fear rippled through Chloe, but she masked it with determination. "Then we're helping him, both of us." Logan looked at her, eyes softening. "You don't have to." "Yes, I do," she said firmly. "We're in this together." A small smile tugged at Logan's lips, the first real one since last night. "Okay," he said. "Together." The final threat of the night. As Derek turned to lead them away, Logan felt something shift behind him. A soft crunch of leaves, a ripple in the air, a faint smell of smoke. Logan froze. Chloe felt it too, her breath caught. Derek's expression darkened. He turned slowly, voice low. "Show yourself." A shadow detached from the tree line. A figure with long black hair stepped forward, smirking, red mana crackling around her fingertips like embers. Her eyes locked on Logan. "Well, well," she purred. "So this is the convergent I've been hearing so much about." Logan's blood went cold. Who are you?" She smiled wider. "My name is Serena Blake." And she raised her glowing red hand. "And Victor Kane sent me to collect you." The air tightened around them the moment Serena Blake stepped into the clearing. Red mana crackled around her hand like a small burning star. Her long black coat fluttered behind her, and her smile was the kind that sent cold shivers down a person's spine. Logan felt Chloe shift closer to him, instinctively protective. Derek moved in front of them both, shoulders squared. Serena raised an eyebrow. "Well, look at this. The teacher's still pretending to be a guardian. How adorable." Derek didn't move. "Serena, this doesn't concern you. Leave." Serena laughed, a soft, mocking sound. "Oh, everything concerns me, Derek. Victor Kane made that very clear." Logan's pulse hammered in his ears. "She said Victor Kane sent her to collect me," he whispered to Chloe. Chloe's hand tightened around his arm. "They're not touching you, not as long as we're here." Serena flicked her eyes toward Chloe with a smirk. "How sweet. Protecting the little convergent, as if you stand a chance." Chloe flinched, but didn't step back. Logan swallowed hard. "What do you want from me?" Serena's smile sharpened. "Information, power, maybe a little fun, but mostly..." She pointed her crackling red hand directly at Logan. "Victor wants you alive. I don't know why. I'm honestly curious what he sees in you." Derek took a step forward. "That's enough." Serena's eyes hardened. "Oh, right, I forgot. You think you can still fight me." The first clash. Red mana crackled around her hand like a small burning star. Derek reacted instantly. He slammed his foot into the ground, pushing out a shield of shimmering silver mana that erupted like a curved wall. The red bolt hit the shield, sending sparks everywhere, but Derek held firm. Chloe gasped. Logan stumbled backward. Serena tilted her head. "Well, look at this. The teacher still pretending to be a guardian. How adorable." Derek didn't move. "Serena, this doesn't concern you. Leave." Serena laughed, a soft, mocking sound. "Oh, everything concerns me, Derek. Victor Kane made that very clear." Logan's pulse hammered in his ears. "She said Victor Kane sent her to collect me," he whispered to Chloe. Chloe's hand tightened around his arm. "They're not touching you, not as long as we're here." Serena flicked her eyes toward Chloe with a smirk. "How sweet. Protecting the little convergent, as if you stand a chance." Chloe flinched, but didn't step back. Logan swallowed hard. "What do you want from me?" Serena's smile sharpened. "Information, power, maybe a little fun, but mostly..." She pointed her crackling red hand directly at Logan. "Victor wants you alive. I don't know why. I'm honestly curious what he sees in you." Derek took a step forward. "That's enough." Serena's eyes hardened. "Oh, right, I forgot. You think you can still fight me." The first clash. Red mana exploded from Serena's hand, streaking toward Logan like lightning. Derek reacted instantly. He slammed his foot into the ground, pushing out a shield of shimmering silver mana that erupted like a curved wall. The red bolt hit the shield, but Derek held firm. Chloe gasped. Logan stumbled backward. Serena tilted her head. "Still good with barriers, I see? Shame your student can't do that." Derek growled. "Stay behind me." But Logan felt a pull inside him, a surge of blue mana desperate to rise. His hands began glowing. "No," Chloe whispered, grabbing him. "Not now. You can't control it yet." "I don't have a choice," Logan said through clenched teeth. Serena fired again, 3 quick blasts in a row. Derek blocked two, but the third shot around the shield, straight toward Logan. Chloe screamed, "Logan!" Logan threw his hand forward. Blue light burst from him, raw and unstable, but powerful. It collided with the red blast mid-air. The ground shook. The colors twisted, the air cracked, and then, boom. A shockwave threw all three of them backward. Serena skidded across the dirt but caught herself, brushing off her coat. "Well," she said, eyes glittering with curiosity, "looks like the convergent pup has teeth." Logan's panic. Logan dropped to his knees, breathing hard. His veins flickered with blue light that wouldn't settle. "I can't control it," he gasped. "It's like something inside me wants to break out." Chloe knelt with him, hands on his shoulders. "You're doing fine. You're alive? That means you're doing fine." But Logan wasn't sure. Derek stood, shaky but determined. "Chloe, get Logan out of here." Serena smirked. "Oh, don't be dramatic. If I really wanted to kill him, he'd already be dead." Chloe's eyes flashed with anger. "Stay away from him." Serena chuckled. "I admire the spirit, little girl, truly, but you're far out of your league." The interruption. Before Serena could launch another attack, the wind shifted. Hard. A pulse, deep and resonant, shook the treetops. Serena's smile faltered. "Oh," she whispered. "That's not good." Derek stiffened. No, not now." Logan looked up shaky. "What's happening?" A chilling whisper slithered through the air. "Serena." Serena's eyes widened. "Oh no, he's here?" The shadows behind Serena twisted violently, forming a tall humanoid shape with burning crimson eyes. The temperature dropped. Chloe grabbed Logan's arm. "Logan, run." Derek's voice cracked with fear he rarely showed. "Move!" Serena stumbled back. "I didn't call him." The shadow growled. "You failed." Serena swallowed. For the first time, she looked afraid. "This wasn't my fault. I wasn't finished." The shadow stepped forward. Towering, dangerous. Victor Kane doesn't tolerate delays. Logan gasped. "Victor Kane?" The shadow's burning red eyes locked directly onto Logan, and the ground trembled under the weight of his presence. The choice. Derek grabbed Logan and Chloe by their wrists. "Go. Now." "But," Logan protested. "No arguing," Derek barked. "Victor will kill you if he reaches you now. You're not ready." Logan's heart pounded. His father's killer, here, now, just a few yards away. Part of Logan wanted to run straight toward him, to scream, to fight. But his legs wouldn't move. Not from fear, from rage. Chloe grabbed his face with both hands. "Logan, listen to me. We will face him, but not today. Not like this. Stay alive, please." Logan's breath trembled. The shadow, Victor, began stepping closer. Derek faced him alone. "Chloe," he whispered urgently, "take him and run. I'll hold him off." Chloe didn't hesitate. She grabbed Logan's hand, pulling him away. "Come on!" Logan finally moved, legs shaking as he ran with her. Behind them, Victor's voice boomed through the air. "You can't run forever, Convergent." Derek looked back once, just as Derek slammed his palms together, summoning a barrier so bright it lit the entire field. It held for 1 second. 2. Then, Victor Kane struck it with a single claw of shadow, and the barrier shattered. Logan screamed, "Derek!" Chloe yanked him harder. "Don't look! Run!" Logan's heart broke with every step. The next morning arrived quietly, but the silence between Ethan and Madison felt louder than any storm. Though they sat across from each other at the small kitchen table, sipping coffee, neither could ignore the tension lingering in the air, like an unfinished sentence. Ethan kept glancing at her, at the way her fingers tapped nervously against her mug. Madison wasn't usually this restless. Something was weighing on her, and he could feel it. "Talk to me," Ethan finally said, his voice soft but steady. Madison looked up, meeting his eyes. "I don't want to lose what we're building," she whispered. "But I'm scared, Ethan. Everything feels like it's happening too fast." He leaned closer. "Fast isn't always bad, but I want you to feel safe, with me and with us." Her eyes softened, but fear still flickered beneath the surface. "The truth is," Madison paused, "sometimes I feel like I'm not enough, not strong enough, not brave enough, not what you deserve." Ethan shook his head immediately, gently taking her hand. "You're exactly what I need. Not perfect, not fearless, just you." Madison inhaled shakily, the weight in her chest easing just a little. No one had ever spoken to her like that, like she was worth fighting for, flaws and all. The sunlight crept across the table, warming their intertwined hands, and slowly the walls she had built around her heart began to crack. For the first time in days, Madison smiled, small, fragile, but real, and Ethan knew they were turning another corner in their story.
That evening, the sky over the city darkened early. Heavy clouds rolling in, carrying the scent of rain and something else, something unsettled. Ethan and Madison walked side by side down Maple Street, their shoulders almost brushing, but silence filling the space between them. Not uncomfortable silence, just the kind where two people are thinking too much at the same time. Madison glanced at Ethan. His jaw was tense, his gaze distant. "Penny for your thoughts?" she asked lightly. He hesitated. "I just keep thinking about how close I came to losing you yesterday," he said quietly. "It scared me more than I want to admit." She stopped walking. "Ethan, I'm right here." "But what if one day you're not? What if something pulls us apart before we're even fully together?" Her heart twisted, not because of fear, but because she recognized that feeling too well. Madison reached up, placing her hand on his cheek. "You can't live in the what-ifs. I've done that my whole life. It only builds cages we can never get out of." Raindrops began to fall, light at first, cool against their skin. "Then what do we do?" Ethan asked. "We do what scares us. We stay. We try. We keep choosing each other, even when it feels impossible." Thunder echoed in the distance, but Madison didn't move away. Neither did Ethan. The rain grew heavier, soaking through their clothes, but in that moment, nothing else mattered. The world around them blurred into gray, but the connection between them sharpened into something undeniable, something fierce. Ethan leaned in, resting his forehead against hers. "You make the storm feel like home," he murmured. Madison closed her eyes, letting the words wash over her as the rain poured down. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel afraid of falling. She felt ready for whatever came next. By the time Ethan and Madison reached his apartment, they were drenched, shivering, and laughing breathlessly. The storm outside raged like a wild thing, wind rattling the windows, rain hammering the streets. Inside, it was warm, quiet, almost too quiet.
Madison wrapped a towel around her shoulders while Ethan made tea in the kitchen. "You know," she called out, "normal couples do dinner dates or movies. We do thunderstorms and existential fear." Ethan chuckled. "Maybe we're just advanced." When he handed her the mug, their fingers brushed. Just a soft touch, but enough to send a flutter through her chest. She held the cup close, savoring the warmth. But beneath the small comforts, something tugged at her senses. A feeling she couldn't explain. A prickle at the back of her neck. A shift in the air. As if they weren't alone. "Ethan," she said softly, eyes narrowing, "did you lock the door when we came in?" He blinked. "I thought you did." A cold ripple moved through her. She set the mug down. "Stay behind me." "Madison, wait!" But she was already moving, quiet steps, careful breaths, listening for the smallest sound. Her instincts never failed her. Something was wrong. Something unseen had followed them through the storm. Lightning flashed through the windows, illuminating the hallway in a stark white glow. That's when she heard it. A soft creak. Not from the wind, not from the building, from the back room. Ethan whispered harshly, "Madison, don't go in there." But she pushed open the door. The room was dark, still. At first, she saw nothing, just shadows. Then, the next flash of lightning lit up a figure, a tall silhouette, standing, watching. Madison's breath caught in her throat. Ethan froze behind her. The figure stepped forward slowly, and the voice that followed was low, rough, and strangely familiar. "Madison Pierce, you've been very difficult to find." Her stomach dropped. No. It couldn't be him. Not here. Not now. But as the next crack of thunder shook the apartment, the intruder's face came into view, and everything inside Madison went cold. Ethan grabbed her wrist. "Who is he?" Madison swallowed hard, lips trembling, eyes locked on the man she'd spent years trying to forget. "My past. And our biggest danger." The man smiled, dark, knowing, patient. "As I said, difficult to find, but not impossible." Ethan stepped in front of Madison without hesitation, voice steady but fierce. "You need to leave. Now." The man's eyes glinted with amusement. "Oh, Ethan." He said his name as if he'd known it forever. "I'm not here for you." He pointed directly at Madison. "I'm here for her." Thunder crashed. The lights flickered. Madison's heart hammered against her ribs. And just like that, the storm outside was no longer the one she feared. Time seemed to freeze inside the dim room. The storm outside roared, but inside Ethan's apartment, silence pressed like a weight. Madison stared at the man in front of her, his cold smile, his calm posture, his eyes that saw straight through walls and lies. His presence felt like a hand closing around her throat. Ethan squeezed her hand. "Madison? Who is he?" She didn't answer. Couldn't. Not yet. The man, the intruder, stepped forward, boots clicking softly on the floor. "Come now, Madison. After everything we shared, don't pretend you don't remember me." Ethan's grip tightened. Madison forced air into her lungs. "Lucas. Lucas Hale. a name she had locked away, a ghost she hoped would never return. A mistake she spent years paying for. Ethan glanced at her in shock. "You know him?" Lucas laughed, soft, mocking, chilling. "She knew me better than anyone. Didn't you, Maddie?" Her skin crawled at the old nickname. "Don't call me that," she said through her teeth. Lightning flashed again, illuminating Lucas's face. Sharper now, older, but still carrying the same dangerous charm that once blinded her. "Why are you here?" she asked. Her voice was steady. Her hands weren't. Lucas tilted his head. "The same reason I've always been in your life. You owe me something." The air thickened. Madison stepped back. "I don't owe you anything." "Oh, but you do." His voice dropped, growing darker. "You took something from me, something valuable, and I've come to take it back." Ethan moved between them, jaw tight. "You're not taking her anywhere." Lucas smirked. How noble, how pointless. Ethan didn't flinch. "You break into my home, threaten her, and expect me to stand still?" Lucas's eyes flicked to Ethan. Calculating, amused, almost bored. "You really have no idea who she is, do you?" Madison's heart stumbled. Ethan looked back at her, confused, searching for her face for answers she'd never given him. And Lucas saw it. He smiled like he'd won something. "Should I tell him, Maddie? The truth you've been hiding since the day you left me behind?" Madison's voice cracked. "Stop." "Why?" Lucas asked softly. "He deserves to know who he's falling for." Ethan stiffened. Madison's chest ached. Lucas stepped even closer, lowering his voice to a dangerous whisper. "Tell him about the night everything changed. Tell him why you ran. Tell him what you stole." Madison's pulse hammered in her ears. "Lucas," she breathed, trembling now, "please don't." He touched his jacket pocket, tapped it twice, and pulled out a small object wrapped in black cloth. Her blood turned to ice. "No, no, 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 not that." Lucas unwrapped it slowly, deliberately, revealing the thing Madison feared most. A silver locket. Her locket. The one she thought she'd destroyed. Lightning lit the room as Lucas held it up between two fingers. Ethan stared at it, then at Madison. "What is that?" he asked quietly. "What does it mean?" Madison's knees almost gave out. Lucas stepped forward and placed the locket on the table with a soft, metallic click. "This," he said, "is the reason she ran." His smile widened. "And the reason I'm not leaving without her." Madison's breath shook. Her past had finally caught her, and the storm outside was nothing compared to the one now raging inside Ethan's apartment. The silver locket gleamed on the table, under the flickering light, small but heavy with everything Madison had ever tried to escape. Rain beat violently against the windows as if the storm wanted inside. Ethan stared at the locket, then at Madison, then at Lucas, whose calm expression only made the tension worse. "Madison," Ethan said quietly, "what is that?" She swallowed hard. It's nothing." Lucas laughed, low and cold. "Nothing. Maddie, that locket is the reason half your life burned down." Ethan's brow tightened. "Madison, is he telling the truth?" Her voice trembled, even though she fought to keep steady. "It's complicated." Lucas clicked his tongue. Complicated is one word for it. He took a slow step forward. "That locket contains something that belongs to me, something she stole the night she disappeared." Madison flinched. Ethan saw it. "Madison," he said again, more urgently now, "what's inside it?" Her chest tightened painfully, every breath pulling her deeper into memories she never wanted to relive. Fire, sirens, screams, her own hands shaking as she ran through the dark, and that locket burning hot against her skin. She squeezed her eyes shut. "I can't." Lucas cut her off sharply. "You can, and you will." Ethan stepped between them again, shielding her with his body. "Don't talk to her like that." Lucas's lip curled into a cruel smile. "You protect her now. Cute. But you can't protect her from the truth." He tapped the locket. "Open it." Madison froze. Ethan turned to her, voice soft but firm. "What's inside, Madison?" Her breaths came shallow. Lucas leaned in, whispering, "Tell him about the file. Tell him about the evidence you stole from me. Tell him how you ruined everything." Ethan's eyes widened. "Evidence?" Madison shook her head desperately. "Ethan, I didn't ruin anything. I saved lives." Lucas's expression darkened. "No, you destroyed mine." She glared at him, or tried to, but fear cracked through her resolve. "This isn't your life, Lucas. This is about what you did, what you planned to do." Lucas's smile didn't reach his eyes. "You never understood me. You never cared to." "I cared," Madison whispered, "more than I should have." Ethan's jaw tightened. "What did he do, Madison?" Lucas stepped closer, breath cold against the edge of the moment. "Show him. Let him see what you've kept hidden." Her fingers trembled as she picked up the locket, its metal burning hot against her skin even after all these years. Ethan placed his hand over hers gently. "Whatever it is," he said, "we face it together." Her eyes stung, her throat tightening. She didn't deserve him. Not with her past, not with this. But she nodded. With shaking fingers, she opened the locket. A soft click echoed in the room. Inside was a folded microdrive chip, no bigger than a fingernail. Ethan frowned, confused. "What is that?" She exhaled shakily. "Proof." "Proof of what?" She finally looked up, directly at him, at the person she feared hurting the most. "Proof that Lucas Hale wasn't just my boyfriend," she said, her voice cracked, raw, vulnerable. "Proof that he was running an operation that hurt innocent people. I found out. I stole the evidence. I turned it in." Ethan froze. Lucas didn't. He smiled, deadly, and for that betrayal, he said softly, "I lost everything." Thunder exploded outside. Ethan's expression hardened. "You're telling me you came here because she exposed you?" Lucas shrugged. "I came here because she cost me years of my life, and now she's going to pay me back." Madison stepped backward, heart pounding. Ethan moved protectively with her. "You're not taking her." Lucas tilted his head. "You think you can stop me?" Ethan didn't flinch. "I know I can." Lucas's eyes glinted with something dangerous. "Well then," he reached into his coat. Madison's heart stopped. "Let's see how far you're willing to go." The rain had slowed to a persistent drizzle, but the city streets glistened wet, reflecting the amber glow of streetlights. Madison clutched the locket tightly, her heart hammering, every step echoing in the narrow alleyways. Ethan ran beside her, scanning their surroundings. Lucas was still behind them somewhere, calm, calculating, like a predator who knew exactly how this would end. "Which way?" Madison asked, breath ragged. Ethan didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on a distant fire escape. "Here!" he shouted, pulling her toward it. Madison scrambled up the metal rungs, the cold rain stinging her hands. She reached the top and gasped, shivering. Ethan followed immediately. From below came a whisper, a chuckle. "Lucas, you can't hide from me," he called, voice echoing off the brick walls. Red mana flared in the shadows below, faint and flickering like coals. Madison swallowed, trying to steady for breath. He's faster than us," she said. Ethan shook his head. "Not if we use our heads." They sprinted across the rooftops, leaping over gaps, hearts pounding in unison. Every step was precarious. One mistake and the fall would be fatal. Behind them, Lucas moved with unnatural precision. He didn't run. He glided. Each step carried him closer, silent, deadly. The red mana flickered stronger as he advanced, threatening to scorch the rooftops with its raw intensity. Madison glanced at Ethan. "What do we do if he catches us?" Ethan's jaw tightened. "We don't let him." A narrow alley opened below, a shortcut through the city grid. Ethan pointed. "Down there. We can lose him in the old market district." Madison hesitated. The alley was dark, cluttered with crates and debris. One misstep could mean disaster. "Trust me," Ethan said, squeezing her hand. "We'll make it." They leapt. Landing hard, they ran, weaving through the market stalls, knocking over crates to slow pursuit. Lucas appeared at the entrance, smirking, red mana dancing along his fingertips. He raised a hand, and a surge of energy erupted, throwing crates across the alley like toys. "Faster!" Ethan shouted, dragging Madison forward. The sound of pursuit was relentless, his boots hitting wet pavement, the crackle of mana in air. Finally, a narrow fire escape leading up a brick building appeared. "Up there!" Ethan yelled. They scrambled up, Madison nearly slipping, but Ethan's hand gripped hers just in time. At the top, they paused, breathing heavily, hearts racing. Lucas stopped at the alley entrance, tilting his head. "You're clever," he said. "I'll give you that. But clever won't save you forever." He disappeared into the shadows, red mana fading. Madison sank against Ethan, trembling. "Is he gone?" Ethan shook his head. "No, he's waiting, watching, and he will come back." Madison's grip tightened on the locket. "I can't do this," she whispered. Ethan lifted her chin, eyes locking with hers. "Yes, you can, and you will, because you're stronger than you think, and you're not alone." Thunder rumbled overhead, as if the storm itself agreed. For the first time, she felt a spark of hope amidst the fear. They weren't safe yet, but for the first time in years, she didn't feel completely powerless. And together, they would face whatever came next. The rain had finally stopped, leaving the city slick and gleaming under the early morning light. Madison and Ethan crouched behind a stack of abandoned crates in the old market district, hearts pounding. The silence was unbearable, too quiet for their liking. "They're close," Madison whispered, gripping the locket tighter. "I can feel him. Lucas, he's here." Ethan nodded, scanning the rooftops. "Stay calm. We can use the environment to our advantage." A faint red glow shimmered at the far end of the alley. Lucas appeared, stepping into the open with the same unnerving calm. His crimson eyes scanned the alley, finding them almost immediately. "I warned you," Lucas said, voice low and sharp. "You can't run forever." Madison felt fear twist in her chest, but Ethan's steady hand on her shoulder grounded her. "We're not running. We fight. Together." Lucas smirked. "Ah, the brave protector. Let's see if you can keep up." Suddenly, red sparks of mana erupted from Lucas's fingertips. He swung his hand, sending a shockwave toward them. Madison ducked instinctively, pulling Ethan down with her. The crates behind them splintered, shrapnel flying. Ethan rose quickly, his fists glowing faintly with a blue energy Madison didn't fully understand, but instinctively recognized as protective. "Madison, stay close," he shouted. She followed, sprinting through the alley as Lucas advanced. The older man's movements were fluid, almost unnatural. His red mana slicing through the air, Madison barely had time to react as one energy slash knocked over a barrel just inches from her. "You're good," Lucas taunted. "Better than I expected, but not good enough." Ethan grabbed Madison, pulling her behind a stack of crates again. Their breaths came in ragged gasps. Madison's mind raced. How could they fight someone like this? "We need a plan," she panted. Ethan shook his head. "No time. We make it work here. Use what we have." He stepped out into the open, raising his hands. A protective sphere of blue energy formed around them. Sparks flew as Lucas struck it with a blast of red mana, sending Ethan stumbling back, but the shield held. Madison clenched her fists. I can help," she shouted. Ethan's eyes met hers. "Do it. Trust yourself." Madison's hands trembled, but she focused on the locket.
The small silver object seemed to pulse, reacting to her fear and determination. A faint glow spread from it, surrounding her hands, until blue light entwined with Ethan's protective shield. The energy surged outward, knocking Lucas back several steps. He hissed, eyes narrowing. Clever girl, but it's not enough. Adrenaline surged through Madison. She felt something unlock inside her, a new confidence, fueled by desperation and the need to protect Ethan. Lucas advanced again, faster this time. Red mana slashed through the air, colliding with their blue light in a spectacular burst. The alley shook violently, debris falling all around them. Ethan shouted, "Now, Madison, push it forward!" Madison took a deep breath, channeling the pulsing energy from the locket into a controlled blast. It collided with Lucas's red mana, forcing him to stumble back once more. For a moment, time seemed to slow. The energy around them crackled, illuminating the alley with blue and red light. Lucas stared at them, his smirk gone. Anger flickered in his crimson eyes for the first time. Impressive, but you're not ready. Not yet. He retreated into the shadows, disappearing from view. Madison sank to her knees, exhausted, the blue light fading from her hands. Ethan knelt beside her, pulling her close. "You did it," he whispered. "You helped me. You're incredible." Madison exhaled shakily. "We barely held him off." Ethan brushed wet hair from her face. "We survived. And next time, we'll be stronger." They both stared at the alley where Lucas had disappeared, knowing this was only the beginning. The first confrontation was over, but the real battle, the one that would push them to their limits, was still to come.
The morning sun barely pierced the fog that clung to the city streets. Madison and Ethan crouched on a fire escape several blocks from the old market, watching the city wake around them. "Do you think he's gone for good?" Madison asked, her voice trembling. Ethan shook his head. "No. Lucas is patient. He'll wait, and he knows we'll make mistakes." Madison's fingers grazed the locket in her pocket. It had stopped pulsing now, silent, but the weight of its secret pressed down on her like a stone. "I should have destroyed this," she whispered. Ethan glanced at her. "It's not the locket that matters. It's what you do with it." She exhaled sharply, eyes scanning the streets below. Something felt off. The city seemed quieter than normal. Too quiet. "Something's wrong," she muttered. Ethan tensed. "I feel it too." From the shadows of an alleyway, a faint shimmer caught their attention. Madison squinted. Blue sparks, like Ethan's energy, but distorted and dark, hovered in the distance. "Mana," Ethan muttered, voice low. "Someone else is here." Before Madison could respond, a figure stepped from the shadows. Tall, cloaked in black, with eyes that glowed faintly crimson. Not Lucas, but someone else. The stranger's voice was calm, unnervingly confident. "You're not prepared for him, and you're not ready for me." Madison instinctively gripped the locket in her pocket. It had stopped pulsing now, silent, but the weight of its secret pressed down on her like a stone. "Who are you?" she whispered. The figure tilted her head. "I am his shadow. Victor Kane doesn't act alone, and every action he takes sends ripples through the ones who oppose him." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Victor Kane? You're working with Lucas?" The shadow shook her head slowly. "Lucas is a pawn. He knows it. Victor's real plan goes far deeper than any of you realize." Madison's heart raced. "What plan? What are you talking about?" The shadow stepped closer, and the blue sparks around them surged violently. "You think Lucas came for revenge, but Victor Kane wants more than revenge. He wants power. He wants to awaken every dormant convergent in the city, and he'll stop at nothing to do it." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we stop him." The shadow's gaze softened slightly. "Not yet. You need training. You need to understand your power, or you will be his next casualty." Madison's stomach twisted. "Training? We barely survived the first attack."
The shadow held up a hand, and in the air, a holographic map appeared, glowing faintly. Points marked in red pulsed across the city. These are his targets. You, me, others like you. Every moment you hesitate, he grows stronger. Ethan stepped closer to Madison, voice firm. Then we don't hesitate. We fight. We learn. Whatever it takes. The shadow nodded. Good. But remember this. Not everything is as it seems. Your enemies wear familiar faces. Allies may hide in plain sight. Trust no one but your instincts and each other. Madison swallowed, feeling the weight of the revelation settle deep in her chest. So Lucas was just the beginning. The shadow smiled faintly. The storm has only just begun. Thunder rolled in the distance, though the sky was clear. Madison's hands shook as she clutched the locket tightly, and Ethan placed a steady hand over hers. He said softly, "Whatever comes, we face it together." For the first time, Madison understood. The city, the storm, Lucas, and Victor Kane, they were all pieces of a puzzle she had to solve. And if she failed, the cost would be far higher than just her own life. The shadow stepped back into the darkness, leaving Madison and Ethan alone. The red points on the map pulsed ominously, a silent warning that the next confrontation was closer than they thought. And as the wind picked up through the narrow streets, Madison whispered to herself, "We're not ready, but we will be. We have to be."
The abandoned warehouse at the edge of the city smelled of rust and dust, but inside, the air thrummed with energy. Madison and Ethan stood side by side, facing the shadow who had revealed Victor Kane's plan. "This place will be your crucible," the shadow said, voice calm but firm. "You will learn to control your power, or it will consume you." Madison glanced at Ethan. Her palms were sweaty, and the locket pressed against her chest, pulsing faintly. "Where do we start?" The shadow's eyes glowed faintly crimson. "First, you understand your limits. Then you learn to break them. Control isn't instinctive, it's earned." Ethan nodded, stepping forward. "Show us." The shadow raised a hand. Instantly, blue and red energy swirled in the air around them, forming shifting patterns. Madison felt it tugging at her, like an invisible current trying to pull her in every direction at once. Focus on the core of your energy. Feel it. Don't fight it. Become it. Madison closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She felt the pulsing of the locket against her chest. Blue energy began to hum softly around her hands, responding to her heartbeat. Ethan mirrored her, his aura glowing steadily as he focused, grounding himself. The blue energy around him formed a protective barrier, subtle but strong. The shadow nodded. "Good, but you're not ready for combat yet. Stability comes first. You must endure pressure, maintain focus under attack." Suddenly, the shadow flicked their wrist. Red sparks erupted around them, swirling aggressively toward Madison and Ethan. "React," the shadow commanded. Ethan's barrier flared. Madison instinctively pushed her energy outward, and the two forces collided, forming a massive shockwave that threw them backward. Dust and debris rained down, but neither fell. "Again," the shadow shouted. Hours passed. Blue and red energy collided, spiraled, and flared within the warehouse. Madison's arms ached, her body trembled, but the locket pulsed faster, guiding her, strengthening her. By the time the shadow called a halt, both Madison and Ethan were breathing heavily, sweat dripping, hearts racing. "You survived the first trial," the shadow said. "Tomorrow we will increase the intensity. You will face illusions, distractions, and simulated attacks. If you fail to maintain focus, you will be crushed, not physically, but mentally. And when Victor Kane strikes, he will exploit any weakness you leave behind." Madison sank to her knees, exhausted but exhilarated. She glanced at Ethan, who smiled faintly despite his own fatigue. "We're getting stronger," she whispered. Ethan nodded, brushing dirt from his clothes. "We have to. There's no other choice." The shadow stepped back, eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "Remember this. Fear is not your enemy. Inability to act on fear is. Control it, or it will control you." Outside, the city remained oblivious to the brewing storm. But inside the warehouse, two young people were beginning to awaken a power that could change everything. And somewhere in the shadows, Lucas and Victor Kane were already watching, planning, waiting. The real battle was only just beginning.
The night had fallen like a velvet curtain over the city. Madison and Ethan stood on the rooftop of the old warehouse, the wind tugging at their clothes, rain starting again, light and sharp against their skin. The first training had left them both drained, but adrenaline still pulsed through their veins. "We should be ready for anything now," Ethan said, voice tense, eyes scanning the streets below. Madison nodded, gripping the locket. "I hope you're right." From the shadows below, a ripple of red light spread across the alley. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "He's here." The air grew heavy. Every streetlight seemed to dim as a presence approached. Madison's pulse raced. Instinctively, her energy flared, blue light shimmering faintly around her. Then he appeared. Victor Kane. Tall, imposing, eyes burning a deep crimson that seemed to pierce straight through her. A faint aura of dark energy swirled around him, twisting the air like a storm. His smile was calm, almost casual, but every inch of his presence screamed danger. "So," Victor said, voice smooth, terrifyingly confident, "the little convergent has awakened." Madison felt her hands tremble, but Ethan's steady grip on hers grounded her. "Stay back," Ethan said, stepping in front of her. "We're not afraid of you." Victor chuckled softly, the sound echoing off the surrounding buildings. "Afraid? No, not yet. I'm impressed, though. You've grown since I last saw you, but growth alone won't save you." Madison felt the locket pulse in her hand, almost as if it recognized the danger. Her heart thumped, not from fear, but from the raw energy she sensed emanating from Victor. Victor raised a hand slowly. A dark, rippling wave of energy surged forward. The wind howled violently around them, and Madison felt the force pushing against her like a tidal wave. "Ethan!" she shouted. Ethan extended his hands. Blue energy erupted from him, forming a protective barrier just in time to deflect the initial waves. Sparks of red collided with blue, illuminating the rooftop in violent flashes. Victor smirked, taking a slow step closer. "Not bad, but your barrier is weak, and you," he looked at Madison, "have barely begun to understand your power." Madison clenched the locket, summoning the energy she felt inside her. Blue light flared around her hands, joining Ethan's shield. For the first time, their powers intertwined perfectly, creating a protective sphere stronger than either could manage alone. Victor's smile faded slightly, replaced with a glint of respect, or perhaps irritation. "Interesting. Together. Very interesting." He raised both hands now, and the rooftop shook. The city below seemed oblivious, but Madison and Ethan could feel every inch of the immense power radiating from him. "You've survived your training," Victor said, his voice low and dangerous. "But survival is only the beginning. Soon, you will be tested in ways you cannot imagine." With a sudden burst, Victor leapt backward, disappearing into the shadows below. Madison exhaled shakily, heart hammering. He left?" she asked. Ethan shook his head, eyes still scanning the streets below. "For now," he said. "But next time, we won't just be training anymore." The locket pulsed once in Madison's hand, faint but steady. She swallowed hard, looking at Ethan. "We're not ready for him," she said. Ethan took her hand, squeezing it tightly. "No, but we'll learn, and we'll be ready. Together." Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating the city, as if the storm itself had marked their coming battle. And somewhere in the darkness, Victor Kane watched, plotting his next move, certain that the day he would reclaim his power and destroy those who opposed him was drawing near. Madison and Ethan stared at the city below, the weight of what lay ahead pressing on their shoulders. The first encounter had ended, but the war had only just begun. The warehouse was silent now, the storm outside fading to a gentle drizzle. Madison sat on the cold concrete floor, the locket heavy in her hands, its faint pulse echoing her own heartbeat. Ethan knelt beside her, eyes wary, sensing the weight of what she was holding. "We need to talk about this," Ethan said softly, nodding toward the locket. "I need to know why it's so important, why Lucas wants it, and why Victor Kane is after you." Madison swallowed hard. She had avoided this conversation for years, even from herself, but the events of the last few days left no room for hesitation. "This locket," she began, voice trembling. "It's not just a locket. It contains the core of something dangerous, something I discovered years ago when Lucas and I were involved in things I shouldn't have been in." Ethan frowned, leaning closer. "What kind of things?" She exhaled shakily. "Lucas wasn't just my boyfriend. He was part of a group that manipulated convergence, people like me who could wield mana. They experimented, controlled, and used us as weapons. I found out too much. I tried to stop him. I stole this locket, the evidence, the core of his operations." Ethan's eyes widened. "That's why he's after you. That's why Victor Kane is involved." Madison nodded. "Yes, Victor Kane, he's far worse than Lucas ever was. Lucas was reckless, dangerous, but Victor, he's calculating, he's patient, and he wants every convergent under his control." The locket pulsed again in Madison's hand. Blue light shimmered across its surface, responding to her emotions. Ethan placed a hand on hers. "So this locket, this evidence, it's powerful." Madison's lips pressed together. "It's more than evidence. It's the key to stopping Victor Kane. But it's also why I can't let anyone else hold it. Not Lucas, not Victor, not even me if I can't control it properly." Ethan's gaze hardened. "Then we protect it. We protect you. Together." Madison looked at him, heart aching. "It's not just that simple. Lucas, he's not just after the locket. He's after me. He wants revenge, closure. I don't know which, but it's personal." Ethan tightened his grip. "We'll deal with him when the time comes. Right now, we focus on control. Your power, our bond. That's the only way to survive Victor Kane's plan." Madison nodded with determination hardening in her chest. She lifted the locket, its glow steady now, reflecting her resolve. "Then we start tonight. Training, preparation. No more hiding, no more running." Ethan's eyes softened. "We'll face it together, whatever it takes." From the shadows of the warehouse, a faint sound echoed, a low, deliberate laugh. Madison, Ethan, and Lucas froze. Lucas stepped into the dim light, his smirk dangerous, eyes glinting red. "So the little convergent finally decides to tell the truth." Madison's heart raced. "Lucas?" He tilted his head. "You've been hiding a lot, and now you think you can stop me? Stop Victor Kane?" Ethan stepped in front of Madison, voice firm. "She's not hiding from anyone anymore, and we won't let you hurt her." Lucas's smirk widened. "Brave, but foolish. You're about to see how far this goes." The locket pulsed brighter in Madison's hand, reacting to the tension, the fear, the determination. She realized then that this wasn't just a weapon, a key, or evidence. It was her choice. She held it high. "No more secrets, no more running. Tonight, we fight, and this time we decide the rules." Lucas laughed again, dark and low. "I've been waiting for this moment." Thunder rolled in the distance,
Madison, Ethan, and Lucas faced each other, a triangle of tension, power, and unresolved history. The city outside slept unaware, but inside the warehouse, the first threads of the storm that would shake everything had begun to weave. The warehouse trembled under the intensity of the storm outside, rain hammering the corrugated roof like drums of war. Madison's hands glowed with a steady blue light as she held the locket tightly, energy thrumming through her veins. Ethan stood beside her, his aura flaring bright and protective, mirroring her own. Lucas stepped into the open, red mana crackling around him, eyes cold and sharp. "So, this is the grand little convergent," he sneered. "And you brought a friend. How quaint." Madison's jaw tightened. "I'm not afraid of you." Lucas laughed softly. "Fear is a luxury you don't get anymore. Only action matters. Let's see what you've learned." Before Madison or Ethan could respond, Lucas surged forward with incredible speed, a streak of red light slicing through the air. Ethan's blue shield flared instantly, colliding with Lucas's attack. Sparks erupted, sending debris scattering across the floor. Madison's pulse quickened. She channeled energy from the locket, weaving it into Ethan's shield. Together, their combined aura strengthened, forming a barrier of blue energy that shimmered with intensity. Lucas smirked, eyes glinting. Impressive, but predictable. He struck again, faster this time, forcing Madison to step forward and deflect a blast aimed at Ethan. The locket flared, its energy resonating with her will, creating a pulse that pushed Lucas back slightly. Ethan shouted, "Keep it together! Focus on the bond!" Madison nodded, her fear mixing with determination. They reached out, hands clasping, their combined energy forming a radiant sphere between them. The light was so strong it illuminated every corner of the warehouse, reflecting in Lucas's eyes. "Together, Lucas!" Madison yelled, sending the energy forward. Lucas's red mana clashed violently with their combined blue aura. Sparks flew, the floor cracked, and the walls vibrated with the force. Lucas gritted his teeth, clearly impressed but unwilling to yield. "You're strong together, but you're still weak." With a swift motion, he summoned a wave of energy from the shadows, striking from above. Ethan and Madison struggled to maintain the shield. The locket flared violently, almost as if it were screaming in protest. Madison felt a surge of panic. "Ethan, now!" she shouted. He met her eyes, understanding instantly. They funneled every ounce of energy into a single, focused strike. The blue sphere surged outward, colliding with Lucas's wave in a blinding explosion of light. The shockwave threw Lucas back against the wall, cracking concrete and scattering debris. He struggled to arise, mana flickering uncertainly, his composure shaken. Madison panted, heart racing. "Did we?" Ethan shook his head, scanning the shadows. "Not yet. He's strong. And he's holding back." Lucas stood, red mana crackling around him. His expression was a mixture of respect and fury. "You've grown beyond what I expected, but this isn't over, not by far." He stepped backward, disappearing into the darkness, leaving the warehouse trembling from the residual energy. Madison sank to her knees, exhausted, locket glowing faintly. Ethan knelt beside her, brushing debris from her clothes. "You did amazing," he whispered. "We did amazing." She shook her head, breathing heavily. "We survived. Barely. But he's coming back, and next time, he won't hold back." Ethan nodded, determination hardening in his eyes. "Then next time, we'll be ready. Together." Outside, the storm had passed, leaving the city quiet and glistening with rain. But inside the warehouse, Madison and Ethan knew the first battle had ended, and the war, against Lucas, Victor Kane, and the hidden threats yet to come, was only beginning. The locket pulsed faintly, a reminder that the real power lay not just in the energy, but in the choices they made, and in the bond they shared. The warehouse was silent now, the chaos of battle replaced by the soft drip of water from the leaky roof. Madison sat against a cold concrete wall, the locket resting heavy in her hands. Her muscles ached, her hands trembled.
and her mind raced with everything that had just happened. Ethan knelt beside her, scanning the room and checking for any signs that Lucas or his allies had returned. "We held our ground," he said quietly, "and we made him retreat. That counts for something." Madison shook her head, exhaustion evident in her eyes. "Barely. He's stronger than we imagined, and he knows we're still learning. Next time, he won't hold back. I can feel it." Ethan nodded, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Then we train harder, we prepare, and we don't face him alone again. Whatever comes next, we do it together." Madison let out a shaky breath. "It's just Lucas. I thought he was gone from my life, and now he's back, and I can't help but think of everything that happened with him, the lies, the manipulation. And now, Victor Kane. This is bigger than anything I've faced." Ethan's gaze softened. "I know it's overwhelming, but you're not facing it alone. You have me, and we have each other." Her hands closed around the locket, its faint glow reminding her of the power and responsibility she carried. The locket, it's more than just a weapon or evidence. It's the key to stopping Victor Kane, isn't it? Ethan nodded. "Yes, but it's also a reminder of why we fight, not just for survival, but for control over our own lives, for the people who can't fight for themselves." Madison looked up, determination flickering in her eyes. "Then we can't waste time. We need to understand this power, train harder, learn faster, and prepare for when Victor Kane strikes." Ethan smiled faintly. "And Lucas?" She clenched her fists, the memory of the first battle still fresh. "We deal with him when the time comes. For now, our focus is on the bigger threat." The warehouse was quiet again, but outside, the city seemed different, shimmering under the early morning light, aware of nothing, yet holding a tension in the air, as if it too anticipated the coming storm. Madison rose to her feet, locket in hand, and turned to Ethan. "Together?" he said, firmly, matching her gaze. She nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle alongside the strength she had gained. Every choice, every action from now on would matter more than ever. The first battle had ended, but the real war, the one against Victor Kane, his forces, and the shadows of her past, was only beginning. And Madison knew, with Ethan by her side, they had a chance to face it, to survive, and to win. The warehouse was bathed in a dim, bluish glow as Madison and Ethan stood side by side, the locket hanging around Madison's neck. Outside, the city slept, unaware of the storm that was brewing within the walls of their hidden sanctuary. The shadow who had first guided them appeared, eyes glowing faintly crimson. "Your first battle has revealed strengths and weaknesses. Tonight, we focus on both." Madison clenched her fists, energy flickering faintly in response. "What do we need to do?" The shadow's gaze swept over them. Control, precision, mastery. Until your energy is not just a force you wield, but an extension of yourselves. Only then will you stand a chance against Lucas and Victor Kane. Ethan nodded. "We're ready." The shadow stepped back, raising a hand. In the center of the warehouse, a series of glowing runes appeared on the floor, forming a complex pattern of interlocking circles and lines. Energy thrummed through the air, pulling at Madison and Ethan as if testing their resolve. "This is the crucible," the shadow said. "Step inside and let the energy challenge you, push beyond your limits. Fail, and you will know exactly where your weaknesses lie." Madison hesitated, then glanced at Ethan. "Together?" "Together," he affirmed. They stepped into the glowing pattern. The energy surged immediately, buffeting them with force. Madison's hands flared with blue light, Ethan's aura glowing fiercely as they struggled to maintain balance. "Focus," the shadow commanded. "Feel the energy. Control it." Madison gritted her teeth, closing her eyes.
She let the locket's pulsing guide her, weaving its energy into her own. She could feel every thread, every vibration of the power around her, responding to her will. Ethan mirrored her movements, his shield forming and dissolving in perfect rhythm with Madison's pulses. Together, they created a harmony of energy, their combined force stabilizing the chaotic currents around them. "Good," the shadow exclaimed. "Now test your precision. Target only what is necessary. Control without hesitation." Energy constructs, glowing targets, sprang from the floor, walls, and ceiling. Madison and Ethan had to strike them with exact control, releasing bursts of energy that hit only the intended target. Each miss sent backlash through their bodies, testing endurance and focus. Hours passed, sweat dripped, muscles burned, but their control grew sharper, their energy more responsive. The locket glowed steadily, its pulse in sync with Madison's heartbeat, reinforcing their bond and amplifying their strength. Finally, the shadow lowered their hand. "Enough for tonight. You've made progress, but the real test will come soon. Lucas will not wait, and Victor Kane's plan accelerates with each passing day." Madison sank to her knees, breathing heavily, yet a sense of accomplishment coursed through her. "I feel it. The locket, my power. It's different now. Stronger." Ethan knelt beside her, smiling faintly. "Stronger, yes, but controlled too. That's the key." The shadow's eyes softened slightly. "Remember, every surge of power carries responsibility. The locket is not just a weapon, it is a key, a guide, and a test. Victor Kane will exploit any misstep. Lucas will exploit your emotions. You must remain vigilant." Madison looked at Ethan. "We'll be ready. Whatever comes next, we'll face it. Together." Ethan squeezed her hand. Together. The warehouse hummed with energy as the locket pulsed faintly, a reminder of the power yet to be unlocked, the dangers yet to come, and the battle still ahead. Outside, the city remained unaware, but in the shadows, Lucas and Victor Kane watched, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And Madison and Ethan knew that moment would come sooner than they expected. The city was quiet, almost deceptively so, as Madison and Ethan navigated the narrow streets at night. Rain-slicked pavement reflected the faint glow of streetlights, casting long, eerie shadows. "Something feels off," Madison whispered, clutching the locket. Its pulse was faint but insistent, like a warning. Ethan's eyes scanned the streets. "I know. Stay close. Don't let your guard down." Ahead, the alleyway seemed empty, but every instinct in Madison's body screamed danger. They stepped forward cautiously. Then, suddenly, Lucas appeared, blocking their path, his red mana flaring like a predator's eyes in the dark. "You walked right into it," Lucas said softly, smirking. "I warned you, Madison. You can't hide from me, or from Victor Kane." Before Madison could react, another figure emerged from the shadows. Victor Kane himself. His presence was overwhelming, the dark energy around him twisting the air. The city seemed to shrink under the intensity of his power. Ethan stepped in front of Madison, aura blazing. "We're not running," he said firmly. "We face this together." Victor Kane's smile was calm, terrifying. "Bold, but foolish. Your training is incomplete, your control fragile." And yet, he raised a hand. A wave of dark energy surged forward, forcing Madison and Ethan back. Madison felt the locket pulse violently in her hands. She raised it, channeling every ounce of energy, her blue aura intertwining with Ethan's. Together, they created a protective shield just in time to deflect the initial strike. Lucas advanced, red mana swirling, his expression dangerous. "You think you can fight us both? You're still children playing with power beyond your understanding." Ethan met Lucas's gaze. "We're not children, and we're not afraid." The two sides clashed,
their energy against the combined forces of Lucas and Victor Kane. Sparks flew, rain sizzled against the bursts of mana, and the ground shook beneath their feet. Madison and Ethan fought with every ounce of skill and focus they had gained during training. Yet the truth was clear. They were outmatched. Victor Kane's power was overwhelming, Lucas's speed unmatched, and every instinct Madison had screamed danger. Suddenly, the locket glowed brighter than ever before, energy radiating outward in a protective pulse that forced both Lucas and Victor Kane to stagger. Madison realized something crucial. Her power wasn't just in offense or defense. It was in choice, control, and trust. She turned to Ethan. Now, together. Their hands met, energy surging outward in a brilliant blue wave. It didn't defeat Lucas or Victor Kane entirely, but it created enough space to retreat. They sprinted into the rain-soaked streets, hearts pounding, lungs burning. Finally, they reached the relative safety of a deserted rooftop, breathing heavily. Madison sank to her knees, the locket still glowing faintly. Ethan knelt beside her, eyes fierce. We survived, and we learned. That's what matters. Madison nodded, looking out over the city, heart racing. Lucas, Victor Kane, they're stronger than anything we imagined, and next time, they won't hold back. Ethan took her hand, squeezing it tightly. Then we'll be ready, no matter what, together. The storm outside had passed, leaving the city shimmering in quiet tension. The locket's pulse slowed, a reminder of the power they held, and the challenges still to come. Madison knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The trap had been set, the first battle fought, and the real war, the one that would decide their lives, their city, and the fate of everyone around them, was yet to come. And as the first light of dawn broke over the city, Madison and Ethan knew one thing for certain. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, stronger and wiser than ever before.